Still paying 30 or 40% tax? You don't have to. There are countries in Europe where global entrepreneurs live well, work legally, and pay next to nothing. Today, I'm going to show you my top 3 most livable cities in Europe for global entrepreneurs. Not just for tax efficiency, but for quality of life. I'm Maya, and this is Meridion. Clients often ask me, what are the best places to live in Europe if you're running a global business? Italy, Spain, Greece, they always come up. And look, they're beautiful on holiday. But day to day, they can be expensive, full of red tape, and let's be honest, tourist overload can get old fast. The reality on the ground often feels nothing like the fantasy. That's why I always bring the conversation back to tax. Because if you're running a business, the gap between paying 40% and paying near zero can change your life. And here's the kicker. Some of the less obvious countries actually offer better quality of life too. So with that, let me give you my number 3 pick for 2025, Malta. Malta still comes up a lot. And it can work, but only if you're surgical about how you use it. Here's the deal. Malta runs on a remittance basis. That means if you're a non-dom living there, foreign income is only taxed when it's brought in. Leave it offshore? No tax. Bring it in to cover your rent or bills? Now it's taxable. But even then, capital gains like crypto or stocks are never taxed, even if remitted. The key is control. Use offshore debit cards. Only wire in what you actually need. Keep your drawdowns lean. 40 to 50k euros per year is common. Yes, there's a tax if you're pulling over 35k euros in foreign income and officially resident, but that's still peanuts compared to what you'd pay in most of Europe. Residency is straightforward. No games. But you'll need a proper lease and a consistent presence. Malta isn't for the lazy planner. But if you've got a tight structure, serious offshore earnings, and want to base yourself in Europe without getting rinsed, it's still viable. Just know what you're doing. And with that, let's move on to number 2. Cyprus. Cyprus doesn't get much attention online, but maybe that's the point. While other EU countries have gutted their tax incentives or buried them in red tape, Cyprus still quietly offers one of the cleanest non-dom regimes in Europe. If you weren't born here and haven't lived here 17 out of the last 20 years, you can likely qualify as a non-domiciled tax resident. That gives you 0% tax on dividends, bank interest, and most rental income, no matter where it comes from or whether you bring it in. There's no remittance trap, no games. If your income is passive, it's simply exempt. Capital gains? If it's non-Cypriot assets like stocks or crypto, you pay nothing. Salary? If you work outside Cyprus for a non-Cypriot employer for more than 90 days a year, that's 100% tax exempt too. There are 2 ways to qualify for tax residency. The normal 183-day rule or the 60-day route, which only requires a home, local business ties, and that you aren't tax resident anywhere else. That's one of the most flexible setups in Europe. For founders pulling offshore dividends or investors sitting on clean passive income, it just works. It's a proper EU base without EU-style tax. And if you plan carefully, it's hard to beat. Coming in at number 1, one of my personal favorites, Georgia, and more specifically, Tbilisi. Georgia's been a digital nomad hotspot for years, and for good reason. The tax setup is simple. Under the small business status, you can pay just 1% tax on up to 500,000 Georgian lari. That's around $184,500 USD in turnover. There's also no capital gains tax on crypto for individuals. You can become a tax resident after just 183 days, or less if you can show strong ties such as a lease or a bank account. Georgia operates a territorial tax system, meaning only income sourced inside Georgia is taxed. So if you do active work physically in Georgia, that income is taxed, but foreign passive income usually isn't. This is arguably the most digital entrepreneur-friendly tax setup in all of wider Europe. And it's definitely worth a look if you're serious about optimizing your tax setup. Even if you live in Georgia part of the year, you can significantly reduce your tax bill. Now the lifestyle. Tbilisi is chaotic, cheap, and weirdly charming. Mountains and wine country are right on your doorstep. Rents are low, food's solid, internet works. Downsides? Bureaucracy is Soviet era. English is hit or miss, but it's more than manageable. If you want low taxes, a change of pace, and real value, Georgia delivers. Thanks for watching. For more useful tips and information, please subscribe and visit our website at meridianglobal.com. I'm Maya, and we're just getting started.